At the end of March, I had 10 offers in my hands. Tier-3 college guy from Andhra Pradesh cracked a job in Google Zurich. And on Coachship, I never crossed 2 or 3 stars my whole life. In third year, second sem, TCS came as an off-campus. It was not an on-campus. TCS did not come to on-campus. To tell you how much bad they were, when I started lead code, there was the first problem. I think the first problem is two-sum problem, wherein you have to use a hash map. I was not able to solve that. So I created a Notion page. I was afraid. I was literally afraid that I might fail in a system as an interview.
Hi guys, I'm Nishant sir. आज की वीडियो में हमारे साथ है रेवंत. He was from a Tier-3 college and उन्होंने start किया था अपना career TCS से. And after some time he went into a product-based company and finally he had 10 offers. So वो पूरी जर्नी के बारे में बात करने वाले हैं, कैसे उन्होंने DSA वगैरह प्रिपेयर किया, कैसे स्विच किया, क्या क्या चीज़ें हुई. So उससे पहले उनका छोटा सा इंट्रोडक्शन लेते हैं. So Revanth, can you please introduce yourself?
Sure. Hi Nishant, happy to be here, and hey everyone who is watching from wherever we are. My name is Revanth, and I hail from a small city called Nellore in Andhra Pradesh state. So I did my graduation. I belong to the 2014 to 2018 batch, 4 years only. I did my graduation from a local college in a nearby village called NBKR, Institute of Science and Technology. I mean, by the name you might have already understood that it's a Tier-3/4 college. So yeah, and after I passed out of college, I joined TCS as a system engineer. I cracked code Vita. So I had to join TCS Chennai, and I stayed there for 1 year. And then after 1 year, after applying to a lot of companies, I'll probably be talking about them later in the video. I joined a startup named Pipe. So we are into US SaaS construction industry. We build products over there. So our tech team is in Bangalore. So after working there for 1.5 years or something, we got acquired by a company called Autodesk in August of 2020. So for people who are not familiar with Autodesk, Autodesk is a company that created AutoCAD software. So that should ring some bells. And then in August of 2020, after the acquisition, I transitioned into an Autodesk employee and I was working in the ML platform team. So what we did in ML platform team was we built tools and libraries and a lot of stuff for the machine learning teams and the data science teams and the subject matter expert team to use up. And then in November of 2021, that's when I thought I need to start switching out because it's been 3 years in the company and I was stagnating on the growth. That's when I started looking out, and I think in by the end of March, I had around 10 offers in my hand, and I recently joined Atlassian as G2 as a P4 level on April 24th. So yeah, that's about me.
Amazing. So Revanth, what was your preparation strategy difference? कॉलेज में आप क्या करते थे डिफरेंट, एंड आफ्टर गेटिंग 10 ऑफर्स, तो वो डिफरेंस क्या था कि डीएसए कितना किया था कॉलेज के टाइम, आफ्टर गेटिंग प्लेस्ड इन ऑल दीज कंपनीज, जो प्रिपरेशन वाला टाइम था उसमें क्या क्या किया था वो बताओगे आप? ठीक है, वीडियो में आगे बढ़ने से पहले तुम्हारे लिए एक मैसेज है फ्रॉम cryo.do. अब cryo.do क्या है यार? एक प्रोजेक्ट बेस्ड लर्निंग प्लेटफॉर्म है. यहाँ पे क्या होता है, तुम प्रोजेक्ट्स करने से नई नई टेक्नोलॉजीज वगैरह सीख रहे होते हो. अब यार क्रायो वर्ल्ड लीडिंग वर्क एक्सपीरियंस बेस्ड प्लेटफॉर्म है, ठीक है, जो तुम्हें हेल्प करेगा फुल स्टैक एंड बैक एंड जॉब्स क्रैक करने में विद योर ड्रीम CTCs फ्रॉम 6 to 40 lakh rupees. यार विद 3000 plus learners and 500 plus grads placed in global MNCs, unicorns and hyper growth startups like Amazon, Grow, Cred, Flipkart, Paytm. क्रायो के जो ग्रेड्स हैं उनको यार एटलीस्ट 89% हाइक मिल रही होती है ऑन एन एवरेज. क्रायो में यार तुम एक डेवलपमेंट ऐसे एग्जैक्टली सीख रहे होगे जैसे तुम एक फुल टाइम जॉब के साथ कर रहे होते हो, ठीक है. अब तुम कोई भी एक जब स्टैक चूज करोगे, चाहे फुल स्टैक हो या फिर बैक एंड डेवलपमेंट हो, उसके बाद तुम रियल लाइफ प्रोजेक्ट्स पे काम कर रहे होगे, एंड रियल लाइफ प्रोजेक्ट्स पे काम करने से तुम अपने स्किल्स को डेवलप कर रहे होगे, एंड उसके बाद तुम्हारी प्लेसमेंट गारंटी भी है, तुम एक अच्छे स्टार्टअप में एक अच्छी कंपनी में प्लेस हो जाओगे. एंड यार एक अमेजिंग बात ये भी है कि तुम इस प्रोग्राम के खत्म होने के बाद तुम्हारे पास बहुत सारे अमेजिंग प्रोजेक्ट्स होंगे, एंड यार प्रोजेक्ट बहुत ज्यादा पसंद होते हैं रिक्रूटर्स को भी, एंड तुम्हारी जो गिटहब प्रोफाइल है वो भी काफी ज्यादा अमेजिंग हो जाएगी. यार यूज द लिंक इन द डिस्क्रिप्शन टू गेट 10% ऑफ. उसके साथ कुछ फ्रीबीज वगैरह भी हैं, वो तुम्हें सारी मिल रही होंगी, ठीक है, वो तुम्हें स्क्रीन पे दिख रही होंगी, जाके जरूर रजिस्टर कर देना, ठीक है. बस तुम अपनी ईमेल आईडी डालनी है. अब बढ़ते हैं आगे वीडियो की तरफ.
Sure. While I was in college, this was back in 2014 to 2018 time. There were not many opportunities for Tier-3 if you honestly ask me. When I was in my third year something, my mom read an article from the local newspaper, and that read Tier-3 college guy from Andhra Pradesh cracked a job in Google Zurich. The same person name is Anudeep Nekkanti. You can probably hear about him. You can just search about him. He was the person I think who triggered that competitive programming thing, at least from where I am. So after reading that, I didn't care about it that much until I came to my third year ending, something like that. And that's when I started doing competitive programming on only CodeChef, not Codeforces, because I was not ready for that yet. And on CodeChef, I never crossed 2 or 3 stars my whole life, no matter how many upsolves I did, no matter how many contests I gave, no matter how many problems I kept solving. So there was a lack of guidance sort of a thing. And during those days, there were no courses also on DSA or competitive programming, not much available, at least from where I am. I had to go all the way to Delhi or somewhere in case I had to learn some coding course. And yeah, so that's how it happened. And I was not doing well in competitive coding, and I dropped it off. And in third year, second sem, TCS came as an off-campus. It was not an on-campus. TCS did not come to on-campus. So there was a code vita examination at that point of time. So I cracked that, cleared a couple of rounds, and then I got into the system engineer role directly. Rather than assistant system engineer, I got into system engineer role. At that point of time, I gave up on coding entirely. After getting that placement, I gave up on coding. And then 6 months down the line, when I was in my 4-1, 4-2 middle transition, that's when I started applying to a lot of more companies. Like I understood there are like startups, there are product-based companies that are hiring. And then I started floating my resume on Naukri and all this stuff. But never received any calls, honestly. Did not receive a single call from any recruiter of any of the companies. And back in those days, LinkedIn was not that mainstream, if you ask me. Not yet. This was like 4 to 5 years ago. It was still in some, and not many people were replying. Not many people were, caring about help or something. So I reached out to like hundreds and hundreds of people on LinkedIn back in those days only. But I never received any reply from them. Learned it the hard way. So yeah, that's how the preparation happened during my TCS time and my college time. But now I think it's completely different. I know exactly what to do. I know exactly where to prepare from, etc., etc. And I did that constantly for 3 months from November 2021 till February 2022. And I prepared DSA, HLD, LLD, machine coding, and behavioral and cultural fitment related questions for complete 3 months. And then at the end of March, I had 10 offers in my hands.
Amazing. So Revanth, like how did you prepare for DSA during your preparation from the last 5-6 months? So can you please share your strategy?
Sure. So DSA, okay, that's a big thing. I did not go on to any course or anything. I just went on to lead code. I had a friend who was actually switching at that point of time. So what we did was we took a lead code premium subscription together, and she went into another company and I was left out. So I felt pretty bad about not studying lead code when we both took the subscription. There were only 3 months left. We bought it on 2021 February. And I started my preparation in November of 2021. I wasted like 9 months of premium subscription. So I had like only 3 months. So I was like, okay, I need to make the best use of this lead code 3 months ka subscription. And that's the only thing that I used for all my DSA prep. So I went on to lead code explore section, the learning part explore section. There were like many cards, like you have arrays, you have recursion, strings, DB, trees, and heaps, and everything else. So what I did was each and every single explore card, I completely solved them on the premium profile and on my personal profile also. So that actually helped me in being consistent. And I did not give any contest. I mean, people say it's good to give contest, but I did not have that much time, honestly, to give contest because I was in learning phase at that time. So I just kept on learning my fundamentals. But before that, I did one major mistake, being that in the month of October, I started doing lead code top 100 problems without knowing data structures and algorithms. My DSA skills was pretty bad. To tell you how much bad they were, when I started lead code, there was the first problem. I think the first problem is two-sum problem, wherein you have to use a hash map. I was not able to solve that. Literally, I was not able to solve that. I had to see the solution to know how to solve it. So that was a condition I was in October, and I went ahead and started solving lead code top 100 problems. I started mugging up the solutions, which was pretty bad of me. I started remembering what solution for what problem, and I thought, okay, this should help me out, just like engineering days. But no, I understood that it was pretty bad of me to do that. And then I had to redo everything from ground up. I had to restart my complete DSA, learn arrays, for loops, and linked lists, and every single thing I had to relearn from the scratch by solving the problems on explore section. Once I got comfortable with that, then I went back and started solving the lead code top 100 problems. And this time I breezed through the problems like pretty quickly because I already understood the patterns. So I already made one note. like on my Notion page. So I created a Notion page. Whenever I encounter a particular algorithm or a data structure that I don't know of, I used to try to link some patterns that I already know from that algorithm or data structure and try to solve them. If I did not find that, I used to add it back to my Notion page. I can probably share it on my screen. So I used to add that back onto my Notion page, and then whenever I used to solve a new problem, I used to think through all those patterns. Okay, backtracking. Okay, fine. Is this a backtracking problem, or is it a greedy problem? Is it a dynamic programming problem, or is this a normal recursion problem? I used to think of something like that. And if, let's say, linked list, can I use a dummy node? Can I use a fast and slow pointer? Is it like a rabbit and hare problem? Is it a cycle direction problem? I used to have all those patterns in my mind running constantly. Every morning when I woke up, I used to go through that Notion page completely and see like, okay, yeah, fine, these are the patterns for each and every topic. So that actually helped me quite a lot whenever I was solving a new problem. And I did a couple of mocks with my friend, mock interviews, and the same friend who actually I took lead course subscription, she gave me some good advices for DSA. And then I was done with DSA cup prep. And I think I solved probably 250 to 300 problems close to on lead code. That's all. Did not do LC easy and LC medium I targeted. LC hards I think close to 50, not more than 50.
Got it.
So yeah, that's my DSA prep in a nutshell.
Great. सर जो भी रेवंत ने बताया उसमें the major thing you can take out is कि बहुत सारे पैटर्न्स होते हैं डीएसए में. मतलब ऐसा नहीं है कि यू हैव टू डू 600 क्वेश्चन 700 क्वेश्चन 1000 क्वेश्चन. हर चीज का एक पैटर्न है, हर डेटा स्ट्रक्चर्स का एक यूज है कि हाउ यू हैव टू यूज दैट पर्टिकुलर डेटा स्ट्रक्चर. तो उन्होंने वो पैटर्न सॉल्व कर लिया, वो पैटर्न फिगर आउट कर लिया, एंड ही जस्ट यूज टू go through all those patterns again and again. And वही मतलब the right approach is that कि तुम्हें पता हो कि यार अगर तुम्हें डमी नोड यूज करना है तो कब डमी नोड यूज करना है, ठीक है. तुम्हें वो फास्ट और स्लो पॉइंटर यूज करना है तो कब यूज करना है, ठीक है. तुम्हें डायनेमिक प्रोग्रामिंग कब लगानी होती है, मेमोराइजेशन कब लगानी है. दोज आर ऑल पैटर्न्स. सो अगर तुम वो पैटर्न फिगर आउट करने लग जाओगे तो क्वेश्चंस, चाहे वो कोई भी नया क्वेश्चन आ जाए, किसी भी कॉन्टेस्ट में आ जाए, यू विल बी एबल टू सॉल्व दैट. तो रेवंत, व्हाट ऑल डिड यू प्रिपेयर अपार्ट फ्रॉम डीएसए? लाइक क्या क्या चीजें करी, एलएलडी कितना करा, एचएलडी कितना करा, इसके अलावा कुछ मशीन कोडिंग राउंड होता है, उसके लिए कैसे प्रिपेयर किया, तो वो बताओगे आप?
Sure. Okay, so apart from DSA, the three other main things that are usually there in product-based companies are like HLD, high level is your system design, standard system design, and then your low-level design, and then machine coding. Very, very, very few companies have this concurrency, parallelization, etc. rounds. Like very few companies I noticed. But if you ask the top three, HLD, LLD, and machine coding. So these two are the things that I prepared. For HLD, I did not start HLD for 2 months completely. Like for initial 2 months, November, December to Jan middle, I completely focused only on DSA because I did not want to spend any time on anything else apart from learning the basics of DSA. And then in January middle, I started going through my LinkedIn and suddenly I saw a post from Alex Zhu talking about system design. So I went ahead and bought, this book, the first design. The system design ka first edition.
At first.
Exactly. I think this was actually the best purchase I have ever made, at least in my personal and professional career. And then I bought even this. I know that's a lot for me to designing data intensive applications, but this is completely advanced. This was not much useful for my interviews, but for interview prep completely, that book like literally helped me out. And then I went to Gaurav Sen. Before this book, I went to Gaurav Sen ka YouTube videos, that famous playlist, 37 playlist. So what I did was, over there, each and every single video, I used to have a friend again. There was a friend who was actually trying to switch. She was also from TCS. So we were studying system design in unison. So one day she used to explain me the concept that she learned. One day I used to explain her the concept that I learned. We used to take things like that.
Amazing.
And we used to prepare notes. So I made notes on my iPad, and every single day, as I said, in the morning when I wake up, I used to go to the DSA notes and the system design notes as well. So the system design notes are not like hardcore engineering sorts. They're like snippets. 1 to 2 liner snippets of how to what exactly a topic means, when to use something, when not to use something, etc. Like for example, if the ask thing is like extremely write heavy, throw a message queue in front of it. If in case it's completely read heavy, throw a cache in front of it. So I used to write those sort of snippets wherein I can understand myself when a new problem is given. And then another big thing that I did was I went onto YouTube and I searched for system design mock interviews. There were like 50 to 55 videos or so. I added all of them into my personal playlist. It is completely unlisted now. Anyone can see it. I went through each and every single video in that system design playlist at least twice. So I have watched them. I've watched around 100 videos of system design mock interviews, and I would say that was an overkill. That was definitely not needed. At least, but I was afraid. I was like literally afraid that I might fail in a system design interview. So out of that fear, I watched each and every single video, but that actually helped me out. Like whenever a new problem was given in system design, I could relate that new problem with whatever I already know, and I could drag those concepts or all those components from other system design, whatever the concept that I know or whatever I have learned from this book and everything, whatever the notes I made, and I used to build a complete system on my own from scratch. So that was actually pretty exciting. I started loving system design interviews after that. They felt no more like interviews, they felt like discussions. But at one point, yeah, there were a couple of rotten oranges where I had faced one Freshworks. I completely bombed Freshworks because of my overconfidence. But yeah, after that point of time, I did not look back on my system design interviews. That was for HLD.
Great.
And for LLD,
Great.
there's not many resources out there for LLD, very honestly speaking. Like just for like DSA and HLD, you don't have those many LLD resources. Yeah, there are like workat.tech. You have one video, and there are a couple YouTube videos that come through on my newsfeed some from time to time. So what I did was I made a list of like 20 top LLD questions by going through Lead Code. Yeah, you have Splitwise, you have Paytm, you have booking application. So I made a list of them on that top one. So all the 20 are listed out there. So every single day when I wake up, I used to see there and I used to be like, okay, this is when I used to brush my teeth or when I go back to sleep. I used to just go ahead to that sticky note and then I used to recall the classes and the relationship and how they go, how the data flows between them. So I used to revise each and every single thing. So whenever a new LLD problem came up, whatever I already learned, that was helping. And one other major thing is if you're already working software professional, you feel LLD interviews a little bit on the easier side because you code from day to day life, right? So that helped me immensely because I built 3 products from scratch at Pipe and Order. So that also helped me. That experience helped me out. And then came up this machine coding. I was shit scared about machine coding, honestly speaking. But then I realized there's like only 5 to 10 questions out there for machine coding, like you have distributed case, you have a database, and then you have a task scheduler or something like that. So I went ahead and started searching Lead Code and then started searching Medium articles and HackerNoon articles also. And then I started understanding how these machine coding interviews work and what are the solutions. And then I used to code them on Eclipse. I used to run at least one feature, like, the snake game or the Ludo or, the chess, what is that game? Chess. Yeah, chess. So I used to code all of this stuff, at least the bits and pieces of that, so that I can perform well in the interview. I have at least some practice. So that helped me out in machine coding, but not many companies have machine coding. There's quite a few companies. And finally, that managerial / cultural fitment round. So I used to have like 10 to 20 questions, top questions, and I used to frame sentences out of my life scenario or my career in star format: situation, task, action, result. So I used to frame my questions and answers in that format, and I used to memorize those keywords. So whenever something came up in that interview, I used to quickly, take it up from my memory, and I used to, frame a story on the fly. Not fake stories, all the genuine stories only, because people can really tell if you are lying or if you are being genuine in those managerial rounds. So I recommend not to tell any fake stories over there. So that's how I prepare for managerial round as well, Nishant. I hope that answers the question.
Great, यार. Great. So काफी सारा आइडिया लग गया. All the rounds, all the things you have to prepare for SDE2 roles as well as some SDE1 roles जब भी तुम company switch कर रहे होते हो. And one thing I like catched was कि इन्होंने pair programming भी करी थी. Like he had a friend जो साथ में इनके prepare कर रहा था. And वो काफ़ी ज़्यादा हेल्प करता है कि if you are doing pair programming or learning with someone else, so अगर तुम्हें कोई concept समझ नहीं आ रहा तो there will be a person जो शायद समझ के तुम्हें समझा दे, and you are not alone in the whole journey. So that is a very good thing. You can definitely try that out too. So Revanth हमें बता रहे थे कि उन्होंने पहले LinkedIn पे प्रोफाइल वगैरह बनाई थी, and he reached out to a lot of people, and people were not replying to him in the early days, and he was not getting opportunities. But starting में he told me कि he got a lot of opportunities recently through LinkedIn. So वो journey कैसी थी? Like how LinkedIn helped you to get connected with recruiters or get connected with people, उसके बारे में थोड़ा बताओगे?
Right, sure. So I had my LinkedIn profile back in college days only. I was actively using LinkedIn at that time, but connection requests and messages, I was not a big fan of them. I was like, yeah, this is just some other social media website. I didn't know the true power of LinkedIn at that point of time. I used to send connection requests, and I used to like, hey, hi, hello, how do you do? And those are the messages I used to send people. And obviously nobody would reply to those messages, right? And when I wanted job, I would be like, hey, I need a job, can you help me? And even those messages, I didn't get any reply. I was not able to understand what was going wrong. People were not that helpful back in those days on LinkedIn. Like you have like a lot of help right now on LinkedIn, but back in those days there was not that much help over there. So I did not even understand how to frame a proper sentence to send to a person on LinkedIn in 2017, 2018. So then I realized my mistakes, and in November of 21, when I wanted to switch, I had something like, I think maybe 5 or 6,000 followers or something. I'm not sure, 5 or 6,000 followers. So every single day, I used to send 10 connection requests to people. I made a list of 70 companies. If you have seen my LinkedIn post, you would understand that I made a list of 70 companies. Every week, I used to target like 2 to 3 companies. I used to send connection requests to people working at those companies by using LinkedIn. Send personalized connection requests, not just a normal connection or a hi and hello. I used to write 1 to 2 lines why I'm connecting with them and what I'm expecting, and my resume link or my lead code profile link. After, I primarily targeted talent acquisition team and the recruiters working in those companies. For example, if I wanted to apply at LinkedIn, I did that actually. I applied at LinkedIn as well. So when I applied at LinkedIn, I connected with a lot of recruiters. Like at least I sent requests to 50 to 100 recruiters at LinkedIn. And every single person, not everybody accepts your request, genuinely speaking. If you send 10 requests, maybe 1 to 2 accept your request. That's how cutthroat the competition is out there. People are not that much active on LinkedIn when replying to these messages as well. So I faced those as well. So yeah, I used to do all of this stuff, and finally my luck favored, and 3 months I did completely for that. I used to send connection requests every single week for 3 months. I used to initiate the first conversation telling I'll be reaching out to you guys in month of February. And a lot of recruiters, thankfully, they assured me, yeah, we can take it forward in February when I come back. That's when even Google came up also. So I used to have those conversations. And in February month, when I wanted to apply, all I needed to do was drop them back a message saying, hey, I'm ready. I want this role. This is the role from the career page, and this is my resume. This is my lead code profile. Can you process my application? And within a day or two, I used to start getting my interview schedule very quickly. That's how Atlassian happened. That's how LinkedIn happened. That's how a lot of other companies happened. So yeah, making connections beforehand helped. Only few companies I had to make the connections at the very end, because obviously they were on the end of the list, but they also helped out fine. And the sites like Naukri, InstaHire, Monster India, people tell they are dead, but honestly speaking, they're not dead. Like literally, if you are in the job search phase, go on to them, because there are consultants, third-party consultants who actively scout those websites and call you up. So I highly recommend you guys to go and try that out, because I used to get calls from all of these consultants, and they used to schedule also with that happened with Swiggy and other companies. I did not get a reply from Swiggy directly. The consultant got the reply for me. So yeah, that happens as well. So that's how I use LinkedIn, and got a lot of opportunities, at least the interview opportunities, not the conversions, interview opportunities.
Right. Great, Revanth. So thank you so much for taking out time. काफी मजा आया आपके साथ बात करके. And Revanth shares a lot of knowledge on LinkedIn, and he has an amazing LinkedIn profile. You can definitely check it out. The link will be in the description. So thank you so much for taking out time. काफी मजा आया आपके साथ बात करके, and this was like a really informative conversation we had.
Likewise, Nishant. I was very happy, collaborating with you and others. Right. Thank you for inviting me on stage.
Thank you so much. इतना ही था आज वाली वीडियो में. वीडियो पसंद आई तो वीडियो को लाइक कर देना, सब्सक्राइब करना, चैनल को अब तक नहीं किया तो मिलते हैं नेक्स्ट वीडियो में. तब तक के लिए बाय.